We're here for part 2 of our interview with your favorite veteran and mine, George F. Grundy II. He was telling us about his story before starting Out of the Mud Media, Inc. The first part got kind of interesting, George. You were actually hitting on the part where you came back to Flint and you were talking about your mentorship. But first, I want to let the people know out there that you can call in live and be part of the show. Our phone number for calling in is 248-820-5053. That's 248-820-5053. Give us a call. Ask George questions if you'd like. Don't get too personal. It's not a dating show,
I'm not afraid
people.
of anything. Ask me whatever.
He said he's not afraid of anything.
You just better be ready for the response.
Now we gonna spill some tea today.
I got coffee, tea, Sprite, Coke, whatever.
Fuzzy, whatever that is.
Fuzzy Paradise.
Fuzzy Paradise, and of course I have the peach tea. So I'm gonna be spilling some tea today, and we're gonna be talking with George, and we're gonna get started right now, talking about where you were when you came back to Flint and you got involved in this mentorship program with, was it the Habitat for Humanity?
Well, it wasn't a mentorship program. I had asked one of the high officials or people that were in a high position to mentor me when I started the Veterans Organization.
Vaughn.
Yes, Veterans Are Now,
Okay.
2015. So I started that. And, I wanted to make sure that it was going to be successful and be impactful. And so since I was partnered up with that organization, I asked one of the leaders of the organization, that location at least, to mentor me. And that was interesting. That was an interesting conversation. Very interesting conversation.
And what did they say? What did they promise you? Or was it soft promises?
No, there were no promises at all. It was a very direct conversation.
Okay.
I asked for mentorship, and they told me, George, you need to stop the nonprofit stuff because you're going to fail, and stick to event planning and photography. And that was pretty much it.
Wow, that's deep. So before you even start with the enterprise idea, we want you to stop that. Was it because your idea was too big, or what was the reason?
I have no clue.
That they wanted to limit you.
It wasn't limited. They wanted me to completely just cease and desist on what I was doing, as if I had pissed in 8 Cheerios.
Wow. And this is how we interact with our own organizations and our citizens. We encourage them not to do. That's interesting. So where did that lead? I know you don't take no for an answer, George.
I don't take failure for an answer. The idea of failing, especially under the circumstances, Vaughn was being very active in distributing water for the community and growing when it came to distributing other necessities for the community, and the need for a location for veterans to be able to come and just have solace was very obvious. So it was not something, or failure was not something that I was willing to accept or think about. So with that, I went even harder. So we end up doing a job fair. In the time frame, let's say within a 12 to 15 month time frame with all this. So we did a job fair, the largest job fair that year in this community.
Through Vaughn.
Through Veterans and Out, yeah.
And that was open to the public, veterans, non-veterans.
It was. So what it was a partnership. When it came to location, we reached out to Job Corps, and Job Corps, we were the first organization to open up Job Corps to the public for the job fair.
That's a good partnership.
50, I think we had about 50 vendors that showed up, including Habitat for Humanity.
Wow. Okay. So is that where you made the acquaintance of Habitat?
No.
Before that.
I was under the banner of Habitat with the home, with the location.
Did they support you with funding or any?
They didn't support me with anything, and I wasn't looking for them to financially support anything in that sense, but to help me maintain and keep that home, far as getting me something that made sense financially based on my income, because I was doing all this off of
for the
fixed income
work live program.
Yes.
Is that still in existence now?
The remnants or the after effect of the people that are still have homes in them, as far as I understand, but I don't know if they still have an active program. But there are different locations around here. Like there are a couple locations on University, and then still one on Court Street, and I'm not gonna blast their names because I don't want to be disrespectful, but they're very successful, very good businesses there. And,
but you said that still have their homes. They have the ability to snatch the home back?
So the ability to snatch the home back. How do I put this?
Yeah, you might want to word this kind of carefully.
No, everything has been done to me besides killing me. So there's nothing for me to be in fear of how I word stuff. Nobody has any strings over me. Whoever they big homies or hidden hand is, there's nothing that,
notice,
all the threats that.
Excuse me. Notice he said hidden hand. We'll get back to that subject. Go ahead.
So, my life has been threatened on different stuff, dealing with all these different things. So
your life has been threatened.
Yeah.
You can't smooth over that. Let's back up. Rewind. Your life has been threatened?
Yes.
Now, I remember something about your tires being tampered with. Do we think this leads back to that?
The two different things.
Oh, my.
Two different things.
Haters are becoming very active.
So, two different things. But, yeah, I was told by someone that a political person, they told me directly to my face. They said, if you keep doing what you're doing, and they weren't saying it to me as like from their perspective. They were saying it from like
in general.
You don't understand how people around here move, and the way you move, and it's like they're gonna kill you.
Wow.
Period. Capital. Period.
So you were warned.
I was warned, and my life was threatened. So that I'm using that as to, yeah. This
is so deep.
So,
and you can be so calm about this. I would be angry
but
right
you're talking
now.
about a span of, it's been 2018, so I've had time.
That's only 6 years.
Right, and I haven't hidden my face. I still live in Flint. I haven't fallen to the ground and just completely given up on anything. So the things that was thrown at me to make me become destitute and completely just torn,
taking you to bankruptcy.
I did. I filed bankruptcy in order to try to hold on to that house.
Oh my.
At court, during the bankruptcy court, they told me, well, you can have the home back. And so with my disability money, they had moved it from what it was, and it was probably like 95% of what my disability money was. So I wouldn't be able to pay any other bills except for paying the not even a mortgage on the house, just like some rent that wouldn't go nowhere.
Wow. So they limited your income, which prevented you from actually being able to live there.
Right. And then the
So
other
you
caveat,
were forced into bankruptcy.
the other caveat was like, and this was for me to get the home back, to satisfy the bankruptcy court and not lose the home. This was like the final thing. But it also was, I had to sign a non-disclosure saying that I wouldn't say anything disheartening or anything negative about Habitat for Humanity. And so when that was right there,
Non-disclosure clauses. Where have we heard that before?
and yeah,
So many people that are actual predators hide behind these non-disclosure forms. Now, how is this mentorship? I just don't understand this.
well, that when they told me that that I had to keep my mouth closed for anything, I said, y'all can have this house, because I had already. So before that, I came up with the money that they wanted. I had a relative that does investment. They told me that, hey, I got the money and I will just do the mortgage through my company, or we'll create one for you. Tell them that you have the cash. So this is why I'm going through court. So I'm kind of going backtracking. So I go to court and I told one of the high representatives of Habitat here that I had the cash, or cashier's check, however you want it. I got the money. They looked me dead in the face, similar to how they did when they told me that I was going to fail, and said, George, we don't want your money. We just want you out of the house. So after that, that's when I had to file bankruptcy and all this other things, because it's like, these folks really don't want me here, and they won't, it was very disheartening, because I did not understand what I had did so egregious to help them generate about $300,000 or $400,000 off my back.
Well, let's talk about those
I don't get
programs that you were running, that you had done out of your own need to see something happening in Flint. You started the largest job fair. What was next?
We were the first organization to have a Christmas giveaway at the MTA. So we opened that to the public and gave over 200 families or recipients of gifts. We were also
Let's not run over that. What things did you give out? Because you gave some pretty substantial things to the public. 200 people didn't just get a McDonald's card. Tell us about that.
Well, we had an array of stuff, and thanks to the community at large for donating and helping to be able to give to those that were in need, or those that need just a little bit more. Or there were clothes. We had brand new clothes, coats, jackets, school supplies, all types of just
book bags, essentials
for day-to-day life when it came to being able to have clean clothes and some. I think we had some shoes, and then just school supplies and some
all kinds
some
of
type
things.
some foods and stuff. So it was all types of stuff. I don't remember everything.
It was substantial. It was a lot of gifts. And that was on a Christmas. And then you started more programs and more giveaways.
That was at the MTA. That was at the MTA that we did that. And then also with the MTA, the Ride to Wellness Vets program that they started. Veterans now was in the room consulting them on how that program needs to work.
Yeah,
and
that has been very helpful in Genesee County.
Yeah, so the only reason why, in my opinion, it's not going to continue the way it needs to is because they stopped communicating with me. And once you go inside yourself and you say that you got enough, because there's no reason for programs like that to lose funding or to not be able to work optimally. But when you disconnect yourself from people that they're going to make sure that you get the information you need to keep it going, and find inventive ways to keep it going, then you fail.
Yeah, that happens a lot, where people think they've got something and they didn't come up with the concept, so they have no way to see the life of the project. So, yeah, it's very important to keep people that start a program with the program to make sure it's staying on the right track.
Well, we didn't start it. We just helped them to
Initiate
curate it.
Okay. And so that was a couple of things, but you were reaching out on a large level to the city, and you became one of the largest employers of people off the street. How did that happen?
During the time, I don't know the largest officer, but during the time of the water crisis, we employed over 100 people during a 2-year span.
That gave them jobs that sustained them.
We had 3 shifts. We had first, second, third shift, even though we were outside facility. And
distributing water.
Yeah, distributing water. But we garnered it under the thought process of it being a warehouse, so they could transition to other positions somewhere else once that was over with.
Okay, so they could go on out to the distribution hubs once they had established that.
Because a lot of for different locations, a lot of people were like, "Well, we just moving water. What does this mean? What's this going to do for me in the future?" So the mentality for me was like, look, it's not just that. You're talking about this is a logistics job. This is life and death that you're dealing with. So you have to understand what you're doing is more important than what you understand.
The organizational skills and management of the whole thing, and actually having a system that worked.
Right.
And because a lot of places were just line up and we'll put water in your trunk until it ran out. They weren't estimating the cars or how long the water would last.
Right.
And there was a difference. You always had water. And that was very important, that people knew where to go. And you were delivering it to
2 different wards.
Yeah, to different wards.
First and fifth ward.
Disabled people and some vets that couldn't get out. So there's a lot of people that were unable to come and pick up the water and carry it back to their homes. So you kind of started that off, the need that the community had, not just to get water, but to be able to get it to their door.
We were the only non-religious water distribution hub in the city, a major distribution hub, as far as where the state was working directly with us. So everyone else was a religious organization.
I see. So you had all those things going for you, and a lot more, I may add, and they still forced you into bankruptcy. I remember when you brought the people that had the water filters in the homes, and you were actually introducing people to industries that could create water in their own home that was clean, not just getting bottled water. You thought about the solution to the long-term problem, filterization and different systems to bring in. And they're telling us we don't need those things today, but yet and still our water filters, we still have them on the taps. They're still filling up in record times, full of black crud and everything else that they tell us is safe to drink. PFAS are still in the water, and we have no way of getting that out. What do you think made them want to really shut you down and put a muzzle on you? Because forcing you into bankruptcy is a way of muzzling someone.
My honest opinion is the business community over there. So I don't think that I was well received by the businesses that were over there.
Are you speaking about the businesses in the area that your live place was? So in the Grand Traverse Business District?
Yes.
Oh, there's not many businesses over there. So
I can name them and be very direct, and the community, the ethnic community that I'm speaking of, because it's not just I have the receipts on the things that I'm saying. I just try to be respectful, even though people tried to destroy my life. I don't have a problem saying the attorneys, the judges, the politicians. I don't have a problem saying those names, but I don't try to to take people and belittle them, even though that's what they tried to do to me.
I understand.
So I'm saying
totally.
whatever issues that I have no problem looking you straight in the face and knocking on your door or coming to your job and saying, hey, what is the issue, so we can work it out, even though that's not the respect that I got, even though the organization that was supposed to fill serviced over 40,000 people, even though the person that wasn't supposed to be able to help some of y'all that tried to destroy me. But that's okay.
Is it though?
It is, because every person that was in a major position, that was a CEO, from dealing with the water, dealing with the house, dealing with the mortgage, all those CEOs stepped down. So even though I didn't get direct, it wasn't like I got compensation or was able to keep the home. It was like those things that you did to try to demise not just me but others too. I just had a bigger light, so it got shown, and then they saw all the other stuff these folks was doing. They had to step down.
Okay.
It was in a short period of time. It was
Everything done in the dark will come to the light. That's a fact. But it seems like the organization can cut off the head and the snake still lives. That's what gets me. They can change the people at the top, but the intent and the minimalization of our citizens remains the same. And that's what's disgusting, is that we can't point to one person and name names. It becomes an institution, a corporation that we're battling against. It's like spitting feathers. You're speaking truth to power, and then the power head changes, but you still have the same story. And that's what we're spilling the tea on. We're discovering the institutionalized mistreatment of our veterans and people in the community that try to start programs to assist the residents. How do you feel, George? Tell us really, how do you feel?
So it's larger than just. I'm a concentrated group. I happen to be a veteran, and I'm a black man, and I live in a economically disadvantaged community. So all I wanted to do was come home and try to figure out how to enjoy the rest of my existence in the place that I grew up in.
Well, Flint may be an economically depressed community, but we have a lot of rich people here, and there's a lot of money in this community, but they seem to direct where it's going and control those people that have the organizations that it filters through.
And so going on top of saying that it's the system of how things have been done. Look, General Motors is not the same strength that it was 20, 40, 50 years ago. It doesn't have the same reach. It doesn't have the same strength. The UAW doesn't have the same power that it had. Now, I know that that's a controversial statement for me to say that to some of y'all that's listening and have a certain mentality and come from a certain era.
I don't know. There's people over off of Davison Road that just went to strike for the union, and they're out of a job. So I don't know. I think a couple of them would agree with you.
So we have a mindset of remembrance, but we have to move forward in what reality is. Because if you do not move forward in what reality is, then those that have been planning and prepping for the last 50, 40, 20, 30 years are always going to beat you, because they know what your game, what you're planning on doing. They know what your moves are. They know what that contract says. They know how you have, what your liberties are. And if we do not create a better union in the sense of our communities, like it was. So you go back to Peter Jennings, Ted Koppel, and anytime you heard tonight's news, the world has gone on shutdown because the local 599 from Flint, Michigan has shut the world down.
Yeah, that's when we actually had union
right.
solidarity and
but that's
power.
no longer.
Nope.
Buick City is gone. The local 599 is gone. We have locals here, and we have the remembrance and a viewpoint of something, but and yes, there is still some significant power in it, but there's a delusion, in my humble opinion, that we can keep doing the same things and the results are going to be success. That's not how you win.
No.
You adjust according to I've been telling my story on how people have tried since 2012. Somebody made a bogus phone call on me, tried to get me killed. Didn't know that person. Then getting out of that, I had to go through all this depression. The military, the Marine Corps did not support me in any kind of legal way at all. They told me I was on my own by myself. I survived that. I ended up homeless. I survived that. I came back home. And then the organizations and things that I thought were there to, and even before that, when I got out, the organizations that had programs and stuff, I wasn't drunk enough or on drugs enough or homeless enough for me to qualify for those programs. I still survived that. So I'm not talking from a place of
they want you to be marginalized, but you're not marginalized enough.
That's not. I'm not gonna fall for that chicken that banana in the tailpipe stuff. Now, yeah, I need assistance. I need help, but I don't need no handout.
Right.
I need assistance. I need help. I don't need a handout.
It seems like they want us to be. And that's so needy that we can't even break the poverty barrier. They don't want you to succeed. They want you to exist.
But see, I don't believe in they. They can kiss whatever they want to kiss, but I'm not believing them because they can't. Whoever they are, don't control the destiny that's in front of me.
Yeah, a lot of people will demonize the they instead of realizing that we can't control the wind. We can just adjust our sails. So we need to go a different direction. We need to start doing something differently. What did you do differently? You came up with the cash to forego bankruptcy, and they still didn't want the cash. They said, no, your money isn't good enough. We want you out
at home.
We
don't want
you,
your money. We just want you out the house.
That's crazy. That is insane. But that's how it is when you're talking about this clique of the neighbors and that program. And it seems like you had a force against you. Like there was an invisible force stopping you from doing what you were trying to do, which was reach out to the community. I remember when we came over there, Gallery on the Go, and we were painting boards to board up homeless houses that belonged to the land bank. So if they had good bones, we were boarding them up. So we would actually have home ownership. And we thought we were doing a good thing. And we were also bringing people into the neighborhood that were frequenting the businesses. They were going to the tavern to get food. They were going next door to get drinks and libations and see what was going on there. But it seems like it wasn't good enough. But yet and still they turned around and embraced the art, but threw away the person that brought it there. So I understand there's a lot of hidden hands moving here. And it seems like the outside forces created a ripple effect. Tell me about that.
So, the hidden hand, I didn't understand what that was and didn't understand a lot of stuff. So this is the other part that I believe that really probably played the biggest key. And when I tell the story, unless you have the capacity or understanding on what I'm talking about, you think I'm lying. But I was trying to bring a veterans village to the city of Flint. If you go on Wyoming Street, there's a Kojic church that used to be a Catholic church called Agape Church of God in Christ. They have 15 open acres over there. I got with a guy named Chuck who helped build Silver Star veterans apartment housing in Battle Creek, Michigan.
That was a successful program.
Next to the hospital. It was the first one that, to my understanding, it was the first civilian build on government property. And so I got in touch with him through some people I knew, and we were going to bring a multi-million dollar project here to Flint. That's when everything started falling out the sky. That's when and I couldn't put it together because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay this house off. You know, how I'm going to have the money, because I didn't have all of the resources and means, because what they had
Excuse me, we had a little technical difficulty.
What they had, the amount of money that I was supposed to pay monthly was not the amount of money that I was paying, and it was way more than what it was in my budget, and I was trying to figure it out. So I wasn't trying to lose. So I was trying to come up with all kinds of stuff, and so that project was something that was moving, that I was trying to get done. I wasn't going to make a lot from it or anything like that, and I was just trying to, you know, make something from creating the opportunities for it to happen. I'm just trying to help make the pie bigger. Give me a small piece of it. And then I was also working at bringing opioid clinics to the city of Flint. So when those projects, and I went through.
Now, how did you think that would help this city, which has a huge overdose problem and a crisis in the opioid problem? Was anyone addressing this at the time?
Well, we have different locations where people can get assistance, but the amount of people that need assistance versus what's out here available, we can use more. So that was my viewpoint,
and especially focused on the opioid situation.
Right, especially now that this fentanyl has gotten extra crazy out here.
Right.
So I was just trying to do things that were going to bring significant money to the community and help me to pay that home.
And help the community.
And help the community. It
was
going to do all of those things. It was
not just about you.
Not at all.
But about helping the community.
It was going to help me, but it was going to help more than just me.
Right.
A lot more. So and that's another. Let me speak on that too, because that's weird to me. People get on folks that want to make money, that want to be successful, as if that's evil. It's not evil for people, and some people are just evil, but it's not evil for people to want to make money and help people at the same time. So I don't get that conversation in that language, you know, when it comes across to whether it be whoever it is. I'm not gonna get specific, but that's weird to me. It doesn't make sense that people don't want to see people make money while they're helping or giving or doing what they can. Now, if a person or a organization is taking more than what they're giving, or they're being very vampire-ish to where they're just sucking the life out of things, then that's something different. But, you know, don't jump on folks just because they figured out how to make things work and balance and they can do it successfully. That's weird to me.
I think that's the goal, is to the greater good. If you're just helping yourself, that's a selfish endeavor. And I don't see the blessings in that. I mean, maybe I'm coming from a spiritual point of view, like I was raised, but in order to help yourself, you have to figure out how to help others too, and bring a cause to the forefront, so we can cure some problems, so we can face some solutions to these ever existing problems.
But to my experience, people want you to be Gandhi or Mother Teresa. Like, they don't want you to see you have crap. You need to be torn and broken and all this other stuff in order for it to make sense, unless you come from a multi-billionaire organization, and then it's okay.
Funding is a hard issue for any nonprofit or organization. You have to figure out the puzzle, how to get funding and still exist and do some good. It's a hard balance. And I'm here to testify to that.
It is, especially in our community, because some people are perpetual "you owe me's." Owe you what? I'm giving you what I have. I don't have it to give, but I'm figuring out how to give so we can have something. But you telling me I owe you.
I know that feeling.
Cussing me out and telling me I'm belittling me. Because I'm trying to help you have more than what you got. But I owe you. What do I owe? I don't owe nobody nothing. But I give because that's my heart.
And that's the problem.
I want to repeat that. I don't owe nobody nothing, but I
Yeah.
give because that's my heart. So if you think I owe you something, or you coming and you thinking that I'm supposed to, you gonna get disappointed because I don't owe nobody nothing.
A lot of people
But I
feel
do it because
entitled.
it's my heart.
A lot of people feel entitled, and they don't see the altruism in someone else. If you doing this for free, well, you must be getting something. You getting over on me, but yet they're doing nothing, and you're helping everybody. I understand that. That's the disease of haterism, and it's in a lot of cities that are suffering from systemic socialized racism. We turn it in on ourselves and become our biggest self-enemy because our own people will turn against us. Tell us about that, Mr. Grundy.
We are our worst enemy. We are our worst enemy. Meritorious manumission, COINTELPRO, just haterism. You know, that belly scene. Like, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Eating a banana. I don't like that. For what? Why you? For what?
Oh yeah, the banana. Don't eat that banana like that.
I don't
Cut
like
it
that.
up.
No, we're gonna have to do something about that. But you gonna do something to the folks that's doing something for you. Hurting the people, the only people that's willing to help and get you to get on your toes or your feet.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
It don't have to make sense to me. It's just I address issues. I have addressed issues according to how those issues has come to me.
Yes.
I'm a man of peace, but I'll tear you to pieces.
I like that. A man of peace, but he'll tear you to pieces. Yes, indeed. And we all have to look for our inner warrior when dealing with this haterism and the apathy of the people. We've got to attack that. We've got to kill that spirit of apathy. We've got to get on the bandwagon of doing something not for pay, but because it's the right thing to do. And then getting paid in the meantime is a result of doing the right thing. Why can't that be the norm?
It has to be a balance.
Yes, why can't that be the norm? We got a caller, and we're going to let you speak directly to George. So we want you to put those headphones on and listen to what the caller's saying.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hello, do we have a caller on the line?
Yes, you do.
Good afternoon. How are you today?
I am wonderful. I'm wonderful.
And who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with Christine Hawthorne.
Hey, Sister Chris, how you doing?
I'm wonderful.
And we know that you're a business owner. This is a
Yes.
friend of mine. She owns several businesses, an entrepreneur in Flint. And she wants to chime into the conversation. So any place you are, you can call in and ask questions. Go ahead with your question, Christine.
My question is I actually have more of a statement. And my statement is this: I found peace in promoting my business as well as helping another entrepreneur. But this is the bottom line. If you're not able to go forward, then you'll be left behind. But don't be mad at me because I'm serving my purpose in making my business to be the top notch. So if you don't have a goal that you're seeking to find when you set out to be an entrepreneur, guess what? You're going to get left behind. And
That's
that don't have
right.
anything to do with me. It's all about you. And we talked about this in church. The
Yes.
transforming of your mind. If you do not have transformation in your mind to go out and do the best that you can to look out for yourself and your business, as well as love and help and guide other entrepreneurs, that's not me. That's all on you.
Amen. That's right, Christine. We do have to go out there with a plan. You have to have a good business plan. And if that plan isn't working, then it's time to start over again and get the plan right. We don't win our way to success. We kind of fail our way to success. So we learn from that. And when you put yourself and others in a mindset to give back and support, that's where one hand will feed the other. And you're talking about a community where you can thrive.
Absolutely, because I've always found that you can do things, but if you don't do things with love and admiration to help somebody else, then what's the purpose?
So I want you to be more specific, because I'm trying to figure out what side you come from. If you talking to me, at me, or you talking to or at what we were talking about.
She's speaking to the situation.
Okay, I want to be clear.
Yeah, she's
No, it's all, what I was saying is this. I heard your comment, but I also says this. I'm just adding to it that sometimes we put more thought into who's hating on us than we are of who's applauding for us. See, I don't look for approval. It doesn't matter if you give me praise for what I do or you hate on what I do. What I do is for me and to help the next person. If you're not on that ride to be helped and to be shown something, because there's a lot of closed-minded people, and everybody is not going to be about their business. I'm about mine, and I'm sincere, and I'm dedicated when I go out to do something to help somebody else. But if you can't receive it, guess what? I don't deal with negative vibes. I don't deal with negative energy. I don't deal with people that's not willing to learn. I don't deal with people that's not willing to slip and fall and get back up. I don't deal with it. I keep it moving, because there is somebody out there that's willing to listen and learn and progress and excel in the things that are important in their life. And those are the people that I strive for. But you're going to stumble across the ones that talk a good game, but their action shows more. You can tell when they're ready and when they're not.
I feel that. But George was also dealing with a nonprofit and not necessarily an entrepreneurship. And there were people that blocked his progress, even though he maneuvered another way and turned it around into a success. They continually blocked him. But that was more political. Why did you leave Flint, Christine, with your business? Were you doing better there than you're doing here in the Flint community? And I know you're not affected by haters. Haters make you greater. So
when I left Flint, I had a great business. I had a great business when I was in Flint. But sometimes you have to grow on. And it was for me. It was for me, my mental and my goals. My goals set me somewhere else. And I trust in the Lord. So when he tells me to move, that's what I do.
Is having that voice, that inner voice, and the spirit of discernment to know when it's time to change up and move on.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
But I just had to tap in, because I was like, okay, and I understand what George is talking about, but you know what? There's always a higher power. I hate to get real religion, but I love the Lord, and I trust and believe in everything that he do, and nothing that he put before you, no man can ever stop. Whenever there's a blockage, that means it's time for you to say, okay, move on to the next.
I agree and disagree at the same time, because I believe in the Esther mentality too, because Esther believed in God too, but she showed her go to the king and ask for a decree so they could defend themselves. So I'm like this. Us as black people in the community, we like to pray a lot, and we don't like to fight as much as we pray. Faith without works is dead. I'm the type of person, I have no issue giving the pain that is thrown my way. I have no issue forgiving people, but I have no issue giving the pain that's given to me, because I'll be darned if I allow things to go past me and hit the women in my life. I'll be darned if I allow things to go past me and hit the young adults in my life. Because if I have to go through it, it has to either be destroyed or fixed. because I'm not going to allow people to have to deal with the same stuff I dealt with. Because if that's the case, then why did we go through the civil rights movement when we're still dealing with a lot of the same issues? When you do something, you have to be absolute in it. The people that went after me, they don't have their jobs anymore. They don't have the ability to do the same thing they did to me to other people. Period. They had to move on.
Yeah, sometimes God puts us in place to knock down walls.
Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the choice to knock down the walls.
Okay, but I also agree with Christine
And I do too.
that there is
Two
a
things can be
point
true at the
where,
same.
yeah, exactly. Two things can be opposed but still be true. And that is that we have to look at the situation and say, is there another door God is showing us to go through? Or is there something else that's greater for us than what we're doing right now? Maybe our efforts to fight would be better directed at another target. So, like she said, we have to decide when to fight and when to move on and change the direction, because you have to
Right, but
survive.
it's always, you know what? My thing is this: fight for what you believe in. Fight for what you believe in, but I'm not a person that constantly fight, because another door is opening when one closed, and that might be the door that God wants you to walk into. Nobody wants to keep fighting day after day after day after day on something that you know is yours.
You claim it and move on. I hear you.
I understand the concept.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for calling in,
All right,
Christine.
y'all. I love
Thank you,
y'all.
Miss Christine.
I'm so glad y'all here. Yes.
Thank you.
Good seeing you, Sandy.
It's good
Hugs
seeing and
kisses
talking to you
Flint.
too. Tell Bruce I said hello, and his cousin's waving too. Mr. Mayfield. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's my nephew.
Oh, that's your nephew? Okay. I'm sorry. Family, though. All right. Thank you very much. And can we have another caller? This is getting very lively. We're really getting some audience participation. That's good. And she's made a very good point, and one that we could both agree with and disagree with.
So we have some people in the comments also.
Yeah, we
we
want to
have
read the comments because we want to make you part of this show.
Have a Casey Stewart
Hey, Casey.
and saying, how are you?
We're doing good. You should call in if you have a point to make.
And then Murphy Chris, hello.
Hello. How you doing?
And then Veronica Triplet, she was saying, amen,
All right,
Agreed.
Sister Triplet.
and delayed, not denied.
Amen. Amen on that.
And if you all could let us know if you're hearing the call, if you heard the caller well, or if there were any issues with the call when we took it, that'd be great.
Yeah, please chime in. We want you to be part of the show. Word on the street, we're talking to our favorite veteran, Geroge Grundy II, who is telling us about his journey on coming back to Flint and what he's gone through to bring him to this point where he has started this Out of the Mud Media Inc. with Mr. James Mayfield and so many other people that are involved. It takes a team to put this on. So we want to recognize those of you out there that are watching as well as those here working. All right, George.
Yeah. So I appreciate what Miss Christine was saying. I'm at a point to where I believe that our community, like this Terrence Howard thing and these other and the Cat Williams stuff and all, even though these are some intelligent guys and they have some great information, I feel like they've been put out there to make us look like the biggest fools ever.
Do you?
Because that information, is it something that's going to stand up? And then why hasn't this information come from scholars from our community? Why hasn't this information been put out here? Because we're used as the jesters of stuff to see what the temperature of what the rest of the world is willing to take and deal with. So what, like, all, so I just,
Okay, I get what you're saying.
What I was going to go say.
One is talking about spilling tea and making our
the
people look like jesters in the fact that we're shining lights on our own mistakes instead of
Yeah, where's
the
the
mistakes of
wealthy
others,
the
because
wealthy
it did not start in our community.
where are the wealthy mentors that taught these folks how to do this stuff?
That's right. That's what I'm
How to
saying.
be these very deprived, humanity deprived people.
Yeah, perverts.
Where are there other the other ethnical folks from other cultures that taught them how to do this stuff?
Yeah, that. But as far as Mr. Howard, that Terrence Howard's information has been out there for 1,000 years. Some of it's been out there 500 years. Some of it's only been out there 120 years. The Tesla information goes on the same thing. But like you said, there's people with a hidden hand.
The fundamentals of it. So like the 1 × 1 = 2.
Okay, that's on a theoretical.
But I'm saying
physics on the
and
theories,
and
like string theory. You
right,
can prove and disprove it, but can you disprove it on a basis that is universal? You can't.
All I'm saying
so
is
it
I
doesn't
don't want
stand
him to
all
become-
the tests. But then again, are we testing that theory? And who really, we have to think about, doesn't want us to have free energy?
Understood. I get that. But I'm
So
saying
there was
going to the point of him becoming the fool, where these people come at him and denounce him and treat him like he from the 1600s or the 1100 BC.
None of the information he's speaking about is new. Nothing is new under the sun.
But I've been listening to all these physicists and things
And
like
the
that, and
thing they're challenging.
But what I have not heard them say was that he was completely lying.
They can't disprove it, and they're challenging him. But that's what they do. They're trying to create a ripple effect of disbelief.
But my point was that I don't want us to become the community that will fall for anything. Like you throw it on the internet and you have somebody that they are agreeable with
Believe
say
me,
it, and then
the
we'll
flat
just believe
earthers
whatever.
make me sick. So I understand the thing of they'll throw anything at the wall and see what spaghetti sticks.
and see what black people gonna take.
And we tend to not read information for ourselves, but I happen to have a background in some physics where I understand his theories. So I'm not saying they're false. I'm not going to sit up here and discredit him. And I don't care if they're trying to make him look like a clown. His shoes are not big enough to be bozo. And I've seen a lot of things get by. Okay, we got a caller on the line, and we want to address that caller and let you be part of this show. Go ahead. Hello? Do we have a caller on the line?
You got hit one. Caller.
Caller, please call back. We want to hear what you have to say. So, like I was saying, they discredit us, and they put a lot of stuff out there. Like right now, we know a lot of things are distractions.
Right.
The aliens, the this, the that, the giants, the flat Earth, and all this other stuff. The moon being a
Keep going. Until
we have a caller, so we're going to pause to take this caller's opinion.
Veronica.
Hi, Veronica. Where are you
They got-
calling
they
from?
don't-
Press
you
1
gotta hit
to
one.
send a voicemail.
Hello, where are you calling from, Veronica? Can you hear her, George?
I don't hear anything.
Where are you calling from, Veronica? And welcome to the show. Okay, James. As soon as you get Veronica up, let us know.
I hear somebody, but I don't hear nobody. You shouldn't have to do all that.
Hello?
Hello, now we hear you, Veronica. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. Welcome to the show. And what is your comment?
Hello.
I can hear her, but I can't hear her voice.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
We hear you.
You keep going dead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you're on air.
Okay. I didn't hear you guys.
Oh, it's okay. Just it's kind of a delay. So we're willing to hear what you have to say today on Word on the Street.
Well, I kind of agree with both you guys for the first subject I came in on, as far as being people trying to block you and those things is fighting back, and also sometimes you just, that's not the door, and sometimes God is teaching you in that. To me, that's my perspective. Sometimes God is just letting you know that that's not the door, or those are not the people that you're supposed to elevate with.
Yeah, some people are here for a season and not the reason. I hear you.
Yeah. And so I see y'all shifting to the gossip or the things that are being exposed. To me, I feel like they have an agenda. People in power have their own agenda. And so they're going to give you what you want to, like, they're going to allow what they want you to see. So you have to, that's why it's always good to seek out your own knowledge. To be honest, you can't just go off what you hear from what other people say or whatever. But I also did see a video from a guy out in Africa who was, he been trying to get, he done built the car off of energy, but they trying not to allow him to get his stamp. They didn't, like his partner, a person who decided to partner with him, they killed the partner, and with I guess recently with the All-Star or whatever kind of game, that football game or whatever, he ended up dying in an airplane crash or whatever.
Yeah, yes, the Nigerian banker, one of the richest bankers in Nigeria, was, they say, unalived on purpose, but we don't know. And yes, we know there's always a hidden agenda with the people in power. And I believe this is why they keep distractions going, so we don't see the nefarious hand of who's moving the money and who's moving the cheese. Because that's what happens. Everything is about money. Follow the tracks and path of the money.
I agree. But I just say that me personally, I just say stay focused. Like whatever God called you here for, that's the conversation for you and God, and He's gonna let you know who's supposed to be partaking in what's your purpose. Because sometimes people, sometimes you do lose focus in what your purpose is and be driven by other things. But He will get you on track, and He will let you know who your people is. So just stay focused on that, George.
And then sometimes, Veronica, you just gotta run folks over that keep on trying to run you over.
I tend to feel like you got to chook and send them the other way while you run the other way.
I'll do a Jim Brown. I'll just get you out the way.
No, you do what's his name? Deacon Jones. Stiff arm.
I mean, everybody got their way of doing things, just because it's not your way, it's not my way, doesn't mean that your way is wrong either,
Well, I enjoy peace. I enjoy peace. It's a beautiful thing. But when that's something that you won't let me have, as an organization, company, a grown man, then it's what am I supposed? I'm not about to I'm not a cur. I'm not one of them runt, puppies that just getting beat up on. That was when I was young. So I had to come up through I was born and raised here in Flint. I had to learn my lessons, get my head slapped in a couple times and figure it out.
And they trained him to be a warrior, and then they want to turn around and make you a puppy.
Look, this is the wrong puppy.
Those things don't mix.
Look, I'm like He-Man. I got the little sword, and I go from Lion-O to what's the name? Whatever thing is, bite you.
I'm not mad at you. We do probably need more men like that in this world, because it's a lot of curves. There's a lot of people that bow down.
Oh yes, and especially as women.
We do need leaders.
We need men like that as women to stand up for us and not let those bullets pummel us. To stand guard and deflect some of that BS that we get, because as black women, they come for us next. soon
Yeah,
as
for
they
sure,
knock
for
the
sure.
man out the way, they're coming for you. Hey, but because it's
I agree. So yeah, that's the only thing I had to chime. I just wanted to chime in and say that I see both perspectives, and neither one is wrong in my opinion. And good conversation today. Good conversation.
Thank you, Veronica, for calling in. And we would like to invite anyone else that wants to call in to be part of this show. This show is about community and its effects on those that try to stand up for us. So here we go, spilling some more tea. Come on, George, talk to us.
We got Mr. Mayberry that need to hit the button on the camera. Mr. Mayfield.
No, you didn't. Why you want to tease me?
he up here teasing me over there.
Mr. Mayfield helped us out with our little technical difficulties. We're in here in the hands of Geroge Grundy II, your favorite veteran, and also producer of OOTMINC Inc., and Mr. James Mayfield. He's on the control board and handling the calls. So why don't you put him to work and call on in. The number is 248-820-5053. Call in and be part of the show. We're talking to Geroge Grundy, and we're also talking about the ripple effect and being disenfranchised when you're trying to start something that is for the community and for yourself, dealing with these nonprofits and programs.
Yeah. You and Veronica were speaking about men stepping up and being the barrier between. I agree with that, but I also have also experienced where you got to figure out what type of barrier you want. Now, we had this pandemic called crack cocaine that came into our communities all over the country. And a lot of people chose that route. And I'm not taking anything away from anybody that chose that route. But I didn't choose that route. Now, the most that I did was sold some weed, and it wasn't even here in Michigan. I ain't never sold nothing in Michigan.
Oh, so you talk about being a street pharmacist as well as the
jumping
person
off the porch, doing some stuff that my parents didn't teach me,
as well as the people that were victims of the crisis. Even though at the time we were demonized and called criminals and this, that, and the other, as soon as it's in our community, we're the aggressor and not the victim. But as soon as it crosses over into another culture's community, they become victims and patients.
But my point is, we have to figure out what we're going to choose. Women have to figure out what type of man you're going to choose. Now, if you want the dude that's going to be perpetually out there doing all the stuff out in the streets and stuff like that, then deal with that option. Don't try to keep changing back and forth, because I was the good guy. I was that square guy that didn't know nothing until I knew something. And when I knew something, people found out I was way better than what they thought I was.
So you're saying that our young women today have to choose properly what they really want in their life, have to consider the ramifications of getting that street pharmacist with the easy income that can get your hair weave done and buy you a Birkin bag, as opposed to the hardworking guy flipping burgers and fixing cars and doing everything he can.
Or
the
just
one
being
that
boring, making six figures, being boring. It just, there's a lot of intelligent men that don't go out and do nothing crazy. They just
the square guys always overlooked.
Give you a great life.
Yeah, I always say, go for the nerds, honey. Go for the nerds.
But that's not what statistics do.
Well, excitement, flash in the pan. We're being shown the wrong examples of what is supposed to be the trappings of success. They'll show us in videos, which is programming. They're programming us for failure, to be prostitutes and strippers and have this corrupt, perverse lifestyle. When we see now with them being exposed that was all negative programming. So we have to start reprogramming our people like we did in the 60s for pride, power, unity, we've gotten mixed messages, and they've been shown to gravitate towards the negative, the unsustainable, the future inmate per se, or victim. We've been glamorizing that since we've been used to promote media. So we no longer have the conscious rapper, the Chuck D's out there. No, we have stupid people telling us to do stupid things so we can end up in a bad situation.
You know, the folks that really, from this community, that really supported me not being a part of a certain part of the streets was the folks from the streets.
Well, they can see the error of their ways, but they don't want to actually see somebody with potential going down the wrong path. Unfortunately, yes, sometimes someone doing the wrong thing can give you the right advice. Don't do it.
So, yeah, that's a whole different, I'm talking different.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. Right now, we're approaching
hour 6 minutes.
Oh boy, the end of our program, and we're going to pick up on part 3.
We're doing part 3.
Talking to George about what got him to the point where he started Out of the Mud Media, because he didn't just stop and take that detour and accept no for an answer. He's now doing a new thing. All right. Thank you very much, George, for your interview and your time and your insights. And thank you very much, James Mayfield, for your production expertise and joining us for Out of the Mud Inc. Word on the Streets. See you next week.